Marcus Chen sat alone at the corner table of the Stellar Cafe, nursing his third cup of synthetic coffee. The establishment floated in the neutral zone of Station Kepler 442, where a dozen species mingled under the artificial gravity wells. He checked his datapad again, 43 minutes late. His blind date, a Centaurian diplomat named Zara, had either forgotten or decided a human wasn't worth her time. He couldn't blame her. Humans were still the newcomers in the galactic community, barely a century since first contact. Most species saw them as impulsive children playing with technology they barely understood. Another coffee, hun? The waitress, a four-armed Quilarian, hovered nearby with practiced sympathy in her compound eyes. No thanks, Marcus said, gathering his coat. I think I'm done here. As he stood, a sound stopped him cold. Not a sound exactly, more like a thought that wasn't his own, a whisper that bypassed his ears entirely and resonated in his bones. Help, please. Marcus froze. The telepathic species were rare and none of them sounded so young, so frightened. Help me. The fire is dying. He turned slowly, scanning the cafe. The other patrons continued their conversations, oblivious. A group of Rigelians argued over trade routes. Two Andromedans played a holographic game. A hooded figure in the far corner sat motionless over an untouched drink. Marcus's eyes drifted to the table beside the hooded stranger. On it sat what appeared to be a decorative heating lamp, the kind used for exotic dishes. But beneath its fading warmth, curled in a nest of imported silk, was something that made his breath catch. A dragon. No bigger than his hand, with scales that shimmered like oil on water, wings folded tight against its serpentine body. Its eyes, ancient gold flecked with dying embers, met his. Cold. So cold. Mother won't wake up. The hooded figure was too still. Marcus had seen enough death in his years with the Interstellar Relief Corps to recognize it. His hand moved to his comm device, ready to call station security, but the dragon's voice pierced his mind again. No, they will take me to the collectors. They will put me in a cage, Mother said. Mother said humans were different, that humans keep their promises. Marcus's throat tightened. Dragons were thought extinct, wiped out in the great burning 3 millennia ago when their home system's star went supernova. The few eggs that survived became the most valuable contraband in the galaxy. Collectors, wealthy beings who hoarded rare species, would pay planet-destroying sums for a living dragon, and this woman had died protecting one. What promise? Marcus whispered, knowing somehow the dragon would hear. She promised I would be free, not owned, not caged, free to fly when my wings grow strong. Marcus looked at the dying heating lamp. Without warmth, a baby dragon would enter hibernation within hours, a sleep from which they rarely woke without their mother's fire to kindle them back to life. He was no one special. A failed engineer turned relief worker, perpetually alone, perpetually unsuccessful at connecting with anyone, human or otherwise. His ex-wife had called him emotionally distant. His colleagues called him reliable but detached. But this creature, this impossible ancient being, had called to him. Marcus made his decision in the space between heartbeats. He walked to the table, shielding the dragon from view with his body. His hands, steady despite the fear coursing through him, scooped up the tiny creature and tucked it inside his thermal jacket, against his chest. The dragon was cold, so terribly cold, like holding winter itself. Thank you, human. Marcus, he whispered. My name is Marcus. He left payment for his coffee and walked toward the exit with forced casualness. Every step felt like a lifetime. Security drones drifted past. A Quilarian customs officer glanced his way. Then he was through the checkpoint, into the residential sector, and finally into his cramped quarters. Marcus activated every heating unit in the apartment, then carefully placed the dragon on his bed, surrounding it with thermal blankets. The creature's breathing was shallow, its scales dulling. Not enough, Marcus muttered. You need fire, and I don't... Wait. He rummaged through his emergency supplies until he found it. A plasma torch used for hull repairs. Dangerous, temperamental, but it burned hot. He adjusted it to its lowest setting, creating a small, controlled flame, and positioned it carefully near the dragon. For agonizing minutes, nothing happened. Then slowly the dragon's scales began to shimmer. Its chest rose with a deeper breath. Those golden eyes opened fully. We stayed. Humans always stay? No, Marcus admitted, sitting beside the bed. Humans run. We fail, we give up. We're not particularly brave or special. Then why? Marcus thought about all his failures, his loneliness, his string of broken relationships and abandoned dreams. He thought about how he'd convinced himself he was better off alone, that caring too much only led to disappointment. Because, he said finally, sometimes we need something to believe in. Sometimes we need to be the person someone else thinks we are. The dragon unfurled one tiny wing, testing it. Mother said humans were warriors without wars, that they fought for things that could not fight for themselves, that they made promises to strangers and kept them, even when it cost everything. Your mother had more faith in us than we deserve. She was wise. She chose correctly. The dragon's voice grew stronger, warmer. What is your promise to me, Marcus Chen? Marcus felt the weight of the question. This wasn't just about hiding a baby dragon from collectors. This was about the years ahead, the danger, the responsibility. His quiet, lonely life was over the moment he'd heard that whisper. And somehow, impossibly, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Purpose. I promise you'll be free, Marcus said. I promise you'll fly. And I promise I'll protect you until you're strong enough to protect yourself. The dragon's purr resonated through his chest, warm as summer starlight. Then I promise something too. You will never be alone again. Outside, the station's artificial night cycle dimmed the corridors. Marcus Chen, unremarkable human, sat with an impossible creature and felt the universe shift around him. His datapad buzzed with a message from his forgotten blind date, apologizing for standing him up. He smiled and deleted it. Some appointments, he realized, you were meant to miss.